It opened on Thanksgiving Day in 1924, and one of the things that we were able to do, which I thought was really neat, we went back and we found the ad that appeared in the Elkhart paper on Thanksgiving Day in 1924, and there are people, Dee Williams' wife, Deej Williams, who is still alive, who was 6 years old and attended and remembers every bit of this. And she said, I remember they had some vaudeville acts and they had a movie. And sure enough, vaudeville acts, Buster Keaton was the movie. Here were the prices, $15, $35, and 50 cents. It's been in use continuously since 1924 until we did our remodeling. Harry Lerner ran it for about 10 years and sold it to Warner Brothers, the movie people. And they renamed it the Warner, and they put on a very elaborate marquee that some of you may have seen some old pictures that are still around. And Warner Brothers ran it, as far as we can tell, for about 8 or 10 years. And then Warner Brothers sold it to a group of local Elkhart businessmen who had a company called Elkhart County Amusement Company. And they abbreviated it ELCO. That's where we got the name. They ran it for many years and eventually sold it to Bill Miller. Some of you remember Bill Miller. So I'm going to take you inside now, and we're going to get you a helmet, and then we'll see what we've done inside. The basic work in here was very good. So we were able to save about $100,000 because it was in good shape to start with. The wall covering that you see here on the side, which is the predominant color in the theater, we haven't put it all in yet, it goes all the way around yet. We found after we took about 2 or 3 layers of fabric off that this was the original fabric. So we had it dry cleaned, a big piece of it, and then it was photographed, and we were able to absolutely duplicate the original wall covering. So this is what it looked like. It's gold with a red pattern on it. This is the orchestra pit and the movable theater that I was telling you about. This is really a huge elevator. In the down position, we can put seats on it because it'll be at floor level if you don't need the bigger stage. If you need the bigger stage, you put it up. We have space underneath for 20 musicians. So this is the orchestra pit. All of the restoration you see here was done by hand. It's not a matter of taking a stencil and spraying it. It's all done by hand. This whole mushroom area up here is all lighted. The area in the back where you see the panels that are missing, those are intentionally missing. That's where they stand when they do the theater production. So all of your spotlights and staging lights go through there. There's a very elaborate steel structure back there for people to stand on. This is a lightweight concrete floor that we put over the original floor, so we have a nice gentle slope now instead of that real steep floor that you had before. We have 4 box seats, and there's 8 seats in each of the boxes. They're roll-away, very comfortable, reclining type seats. One of the nice things is Crown International makes the best sound systems in the world. Okay. They're in Elkhart.
Right.
So we went to them and we said, how about helping us? Well, they gave us all of the state-of-the-art sound equipment at their cost. It saved us about $100,000. Let's go upstairs now. We'll show you the new portion. This is our ballroom, flex room, whatever you guys want to call it. It's 6,000 square feet. It's going to be very, very nicely finished. You can divide this room off into 3 rooms.
They won't be equal.
No, the middle one is a little bit bigger than the end ones. So you can divide, you could have 1/3, 2/3, or the whole room. So that gives you some flexibility in how you want to rent your space out. Each of these rooms has a high definition movie screen and projector that are in the ceiling. You will not see them, but they will descend when you want them to, and you can show whatever you want to, as I indicated to you before. So you got the flexibility. You'll have 3 projections and screens, projectors and screens here, 1 on the main theater. The one on the main theater is 50 feet, big screen.
Yeah, they'll all be the same size.
This is a room that I know a lot of you maybe saw, some of you didn't see, but it's called the Grand Lounge. This is where people who are in the balcony would come down and have their refreshments, and again, we have refreshment plug-ins all over here. This could also be leased or rented for separate occasions. We might go up here a little bit and I'll give you a bird's eye view of the theater from the balcony area. And the interesting thing was all of this beautiful work on the sides was all here. It was intact. The only thing we did is, in most cases, we cleaned it up and painted it. We had an area right in here where we had some real deterioration from water, you remember?
Yeah.
And what they do is they make a mold and then they recast it, so you'll never see where this was repaired, but this area right in here was all repaired. One of the things we had to do is we had to figure out how you change those light bulbs.
Oh, yeah.
So there is a catwalk. You don't see it, but above this whole ceiling is an attic. In the attic is a very elaborate catwalk that we made out of steel, so you can actually service all of the light fixtures and bulbs. Keep in mind we used LED lights, so you shouldn't have to change those except once every 25 years. I haven't taken you downstairs. We'll go down there in a minute to see the Premier Arts Room, but there's a lot of space downstairs. We could have as many as 200 people down here at some point if they have their tryouts and so forth. So you have to provide ingress and egress. We had to have a certain amount of airflow, which meant we had to have a whole new air conditioning unit on the roof. We had to find a way to pipe it down here. We have to have doorways that are so many inches wide. This is the dressing room area. I think we have 4 dressing rooms, and we have a stars room, which is on the first floor near the kitchen area. But it was a great community effort. I think when we're done, it's going to be something we'll be proud of, hopefully for 100 years.